In this tutorial, we are going to talk about adding annotations and measurements to your architectural design and how you can manage the measurements to create a professional presentation that facilitates communicating and sharing your design. This is a one-story house design created in SketchUp. Go to the Create menu and select Annotations. The Plane Selection dialog will appear. In this dialog, we are going to determine the plane on which we are going to create the annotations. Selecting the proper plane for the annotations creation is crucial in terms of where the annotations will be projected for viewing. Since we are going to add measurements for the front elevation, we need to select X or Z plane, or simply click on a parallel face to the front view. Click on this wall and notice that a blue arrow has been created in the place of picking, indicating the normal of the plane you selected. Notice also that the grid has been rotated to match the plane you selected for annotation creation. Aside from picking a plane from the 3D area, you can determine the plane by selecting one of the principal planes in SimLab Composer. You also have the option to offset the plane you have selected parallel to its axis. Click OK to set the plane and initiate the Annotations Creation dialog window. SimLab Composer allows you to create several types of annotations. The Linear Dimension tool measures the projected distance between 2 points on the principal axis, while the Align Dimension tool measures the distance between 2 points in space without projecting their location on a principal axis. The Radial Dimension tool measures the radius of circles and arcs in the design. The Angular Dimension tool can measure the angle between two intersecting lines. And the Leader Annotation tool allows you to add custom text with a pointer to the design. Click on the Linear Dimension. To measure the height of this wall, click on the top edge of the wall to set the first point. Then click on the lower edge of the wall to set the second point of measurement. Move the cursor to determine the position of the annotation and click to confirm it. To measure the width of the rooftop, create a linear dimension annotation and set the first point at the far right edge of the rooftop and second point to the far left. Move the cursor towards the top and click to set the position of the annotation. Click on Linear Dimension and measure the distance between two diagonal points. Notice that the Linear tool measured the project width of the 2 points and not the distance between them. Click on the Align Dimension tool and measure the distance between the same points you measured earlier. The Align Dimension tool will measure the distance between 2 points without projecting the values to the principal axis, which can be useful in measuring diagonal surfaces and edges. Select the Radial Dimension tool and click on the edge of the circular window to measure its radius. Click again to set the length of the annotations indicator, and by moving the cursor, determine the length and orientation of the measurements text. Click on the Angular Dimension tool and click on an edge to set the first line. And then click on another intersecting line to measure the angle between them. Move the cursor to position the measurement's value and left-click to confirm its location. Aside from creating annotation in 3D space, you can set the camera to a front view and switch the camera from a perspective view to parallel view, which is the equivalent of an architectural front elevation drawing of a house. And from there you can proceed with adding annotations to your design. In the Object Tree panel to the left, select all the annotations you have created and right-click and select Add Parent. Change the name of the newly created group to Front Elevation. Arranging the annotation into groups allows you to have better management and control over those annotations. Select the rooftop objects in the design and press H on your keyboard to hide them and reveal the interior structure and details of the house. Now that you are about to create annotations for the floor plan, you need to change the plane used for creating the annotations. Click on Edit Plane from the Annotations dialog and click on the ground or any surface parallel to the top view. Click OK to confirm the plane and go back to the Annotations dialog. Following the same steps as earlier, create a linear dimension. Then set the 2 points of measurements by clicking on Edges. Then set the position of the measurements text and left-click in the position to confirm the creation. Click on the annotation you created to access its attributes. From the Attributes panel to the right, you can add extra text that will be positioned next to the measurements value. You can also change size and color of the annotation through the panel. Changing the size of the annotation can be used to clarify its appearance or to emphasize its importance. While changing the color can eliminate conflict with the color of the object behind the text, or it can be used as a way to manage your annotations, where you give a group of annotations a certain color to indicate their purpose. Create a leader annotation and click on a surface or an object to create an indicator pointing towards it. You can click several times in the 3D area while moving the cursor to determine the path of the indicator for the leader annotation. Click on the green mark to confirm the creation, then select the created annotation and from the Attributes panel, type in a custom text. Leader annotations are a great tool besides the measurement tool. They allow you to add notes and identities to your design. Click on the Color thumbnail in the Annotation Creation dialog window and change the color from black to red. Changing the annotation color from the dialog window predefines the color of the annotations that will be created. So instead of changing the color of each annotation one by one after they have been created, you can change the color of those annotations prior to their creation. You can also change the measurement unit from the dialog box. Changing the unit will affect all the annotations in your design. Additional attributes for the annotations can be accessed from the Preference window in the File menu. You can find an auto size option which will determine the size of the annotations automatically based on the size of your model. You can change the measurement unit and also set the annotation precision. which controls the number of decimal digits to calculate in the annotations. Select the recently created annotations from the object tree to the left, and right-click and select Add Parent. Set the name to Floor Plan. Now that all the annotations in the scene are grouped according to their corresponding view, you can hide and show them as needed. Hide the front elevation group and the roof objects, then set the camera to a top parallel view. Then go to the Scene States menu and select Capture. Scene States allow you to capture several attributes from the scene and store them. When the captured scene states are activated, it will reapply all the attributes it stored back into the scene. To see how scene states can synergize with annotations, make sure that the visibility and camera options are included in the scene state and click Capture from Scene. Switch to a front parallel view and show the elevation group by clicking the visibility icon in the Attributes panel or by pressing S on your keyboard, and at the same time hide the floor plan group by pressing H on your keyboard. You can also show the roof by selecting the house group and pressing S on your keyboard. Once you're set, click on Capture from Scene. Go to the Scene States tab in the panel at the bottom, and you will find the captured scene states there. Drag the thumbnail of the scene state to the scene to apply it. Reveal all the objects and annotations in the scene and set the camera to a perspective view and click Capture from Scene to create a third scene state. Click on the first scene state and from the Attributes panel to the right, rename it to Top. Select the second scene state and name it Front. And name the third scene state Perspective. To export the 3D design along with the measurements and scene states as a 3D PDF document, from the File menu, click on the 3D PDF settings. Create a new template for the 3D PDF. Set the size of the PDF file and click OK. Add the 3D area where the design will be displayed, and using the red draggers, determine the size and shape of the 3D area. Click on the text icon to add text to the template. Type in Front Elevation and set the size and font for it and click OK. From the text attributes to the left, set the type to Scene States. Setting the text type to Scene State will turn the text to a button that will apply scene states when clicked. Type in the name of the scene state exactly as created in SimLab Composer. For the front elevation view, we named the scene state Front, so we type Front in the box. Press Ctrl and C, then Ctrl and V on your keyboard to duplicate the text. Slide it to the right, then double-click on it and change the text to Floor Plan. Change the scene state name for this text to Top, which is the name we used for the floor plan scene state. Press Ctrl and C, then Ctrl and V again to duplicate the text. Change its position, then double-click to edit it and type Perspective. Then change the scene state associated with it to Perspective as well. Save the created template and close the template editor. Then click Refresh and select the template you created and click Export. Set the location and the file name for the PDF you are about to create and click Save. Make sure that you have all the scene states that you need checked and click OK. SimLab Composer provides valuable tools for architects that can improve the quality of their work and can ease the process of communicating their designs. The use of annotations in combination with scene states in a 3D PDF document results in creating a unique presentation where you can visually channel your ideas to others without much effort.